What's up, guys? What's up? Welcome back to another episode of IAYR replay. Today we have a 5.6k Protoss Hydra playing versus a 6.3k Terran barcode on the ladder. And today's session will mostly focus around how to more efficiently get you, how to look at your build order and specifically your resources to improve on your build order without having to look at benchmarks, which is a rare thing for me because I love benchmarks, but that is what we're gonna do today. So this session will be helpful for, I think, everyone, for both Hydra hopefully, but also for people that are like 3k, 2k, 4k, 5k, but we're at 5k right now. So there you go. Hydra starts out with a normal opening, and the first thing to always say, and it's always important, is get your opening down, get it clean, get it correct. If there are tiny mistakes and you are 3k or 4k, iron them out, because what else are you gonna do in the first 2 minutes of the game? Outside of getting canvashed sometimes. But that is the first step. The first step, always iron out your openings. You also saw Hydra scouted, Hydra saw CC, everything's great, everything's nice, as expected from a 5.6k player. We went for the Robo before Warp Gate, which I don't think is necessary. I think you can easily go for the Warp Gate before Robo, but I also don't think that matters too much in my personal opinion. Going for the Adept to Scout, which is always great to check for, I don't know, Hellions, Reactor Hellions, or CCs, or just something weird going on, like too many Marines. Because in a lot of cases in PvT, you can defend a lot of things just by building a shield battery at your natural and building a shield battery at your main. And if you see like a few too many Marines because you went reactor first, or if you see, I don't know, Hellions, you just get a shield battery and you're good to go, honestly. Like, let me tell you that if you take away one thing that isn't like a big thought, then it is build shield batteries. Thank you. So I'm also going for the sentry, which I find interesting because the norm nowadays, as far as I can tell, is that you go Adept Stalker to be safe, and then the first weapon is a sentry. But I don't mind the sentry at all. That's just what the norm usually is nowadays. So because Hydra went for a wobble first, this is going to be, because I looked at the replay already, this is going to be Colossus opening, so very solid macro opener for a lot of Protosses out there, and I actually like it as well. So Hydra goes for 2 gases. He goes for the 2 observers. I think 2 observers are out right now. Yeah, 2 observers, 3rd observer, and then he goes for the robotic spray as soon as the gas allows. And this is always a good way to handle a build order. If you don't want to look at benchmarks to improve, you always want to look at, well, when do I have the resources ready? Chrono boost usage could be better. That is actually a kind of big thing, because there are 2 chrono boosts not being spent here. Almost 2 chrono boosts not being spent here. But at the same time, so this is an interesting thought, right? This is an interesting thought. As you can see, the bank is being spent. The bank is being spent, the bank is nice. But I feel like if you would have if he would have spent the chrono boost more, he would have an even bigger bank, because he would have had more probes. Because really with chrono boost you want to be as greedy as possible, right? So I think that's one factor to keep in mind to improve on. We go for the 3rd base. We see the 3rd base of the really quick 3rd CC by the opponent, which tells us we can be as greedy as we want to be. With both chrono boosts, with tech, and interestingly enough, the chrono boosts are still not being used. So there are some certain moments where, like, I would say almost blindly you should always chrono boost your probes unless something is going on, or you want to hit a specific timing, or you want to be ready for a specific timing. But specifically when you see a quick 3rd CC, what else would you put your chrono boosts on? But in this case it's actually even simpler than that. It's really just using your chrono boost instead of not using them. It's really as simple as that in those cases. Because I would personally say chrono boost your props instead, because there's no timing that you have to be scared of. We see a Raven, we see Marines, so we have really good intel. It's just that we don't do anything with the intel right now. And I really like that we're going for even more intel, that we're going for even more, like, what is he actually doing? So some small supply blocks which don't matter, The most important thing, always get gateways before units, is being done here. We're getting the Colossi. And there's something gonna happen. Something is gonna happen soon that I want you guys to look at in this game. And that is going to be the main point of this replay. This is going to be the main point next to the Chronobus actually, which I didn't check out for the first time watching, but I found out now. This is a big thing, but this is going to be a major thing that is hopefully going to be helpful for like most of you people out there, right? So we're going for a 4th base, which I really like. 7-minute 4th base is super quick, and honestly, why not? Although I would honestly say like maybe get some more gateways before that. I like people being greedy. Okay, I like people pushing it. I think this might be pushing it a little bit too hard though. A little bit too hard, especially with no charge ready, because now the Chronobus could be used on the, now that we've got full situation of 3 bases, Chronobus could be used on charge and stuff. So really Chronobus are really missing, and this is going to delay everything a little bit. And this is the major thing. So if we go back, we were constantly on Hydra's vision right here, right? We were constantly on Hydra's vision, and I was mentioning the vision of Hydra was like really good. Except for this path. And this is the exact path the Terran is taking. So that sucks. It happens, so that sucks. So like Hydra's in this moment where I think he saw the move on, right? So he's expecting something. So he positions in a way where he could maybe defend both bases. But the problem is, by positioning in this way, he doesn't defend this base actually. He doesn't. Like that's the problem. Like you have to more probably position your army when you want to defend a push like that, because there are 2 tanks. There's a good amount of marine and Marauder there. There's a Raven. You need to be in position to force field and stuff. But more importantly, I want you guys to look at something right now. I want you guys to look at the bank. And this is the big thing. If you scroll back a little bit, I want you guys to look at the resources. There's no bank, but look at this. There's always like more gas than we need. Look at this, 700 gas right now. Right? Still 700 gas. The minerals are being spent. This is not like a macro problem as in mechanical. And Hydro does makes the really smart move of going back, going away. And sacking this Nexus, because where you can't defend that. I like that. A lot of people, including me, would try to defend because I can micro this. No, just don't play it safe. I like that a lot. But here's the thing, there's a lot of gas, and whenever you have a moment like this, whenever you especially as a Protoss player, because as a Protoss player, it's kind of like the decision making of where to put more gas is relatively simple. If you have a moment like this, think about the way you structured your build order, and think about, wait, but like, I'm mining this gas, but I'm not using it. So I could be doing 2 things right now. I could either not be mining that gas and get more minerals instead, which is kinda doesn't work out. Or better, use the gas in something. Just so we have more gas units. But then the question is what? And honestly, I'm not gonna answer that question because there's no definite answer. This is the main point for everyone out there, for every Protoss out there, is that when you have gas left over, do something with it. You can go Templar with Storm and then go for like a weird Storm tiling before Ghosts out. You can go for something I like to do actually, that sounds weird, but like, turns out DTs cost more gas than they do minerals. And that isn't true, but it is, because your gas mining rate is way lower. So if you have gas left over, and you also are mining minerals, you can build DTs, and your gas bank is gonna deplete faster than your minerals, because if minerals come back faster. So if you have a lot of gas, think about going DTs maybe. Because imagine, like, it would have fit in this build, like a DT Shrine plus DTs would have fit into this. Imagine like about 6 DTs right about now. I mean, there's a mistletoe, because our opponent is 6.3k. They are not bad at this game at all. But like imagine like 3 High Templar here, 3 High Templar here, like, he will probably still die. There are no scans. Because his macro is really good. Unfortunately for him, there are no scans. So this is the big thesis of how to spend your resources in a more efficient manner. right? So we talked about positioning, we talked about vision and attack paths, which is like this side is really well, like the vision on this side is really well handled. The vision on this side is now getting better. We talked about chrono boost, and the big thing, chrono boost still not being used, but at this point using chrono boost is a little bit weird because you can only put them on upgrades, but you could still put them on upgrades. But the big thing really is the gas count. Like, it's still very high. It's like there's 500 gas not being used. And I don't want to talk about like army composition or anything. I'm personally not a fan of like pure Stalker Colossus. Personally, I don't think it's good. But this is the major thing, right? Then Hydra takes a little bit of a bad trade here. And look at what position the Terran player is, right? There was no pressure on the Terran, even though there could have been. I mean, actually there's now with the DTs. See, I didn't notice that the first time I was watching this replay. Look at how low the gas count is now, guys. Told you, this could have been way faster though. There we go, guys, I didn't see this. But this is great, Look at how much damage this is doing. And of course Hydra's gonna defend with Stalker Colossus just fine, because you have a lot of range. So Hydra takes like a really good trade here, does a lot of damage here. And even though Terran was in an amazing position economically and everything really, this is great for the Terran. Sorry, this is great for Hydra. So Hydra moves out right now, pushes the advantage. I really like that. I really like that, pushing the advantage. But the problem is, the advantage is kind of tricky, because Hydra's army is not good unless he hits with the disruptors. There's only one Colossus left. Stalkers are not that amazing. So if the Terran goes for a surround, which of course he will do, or like at least for a good fight, it doesn't have to be a surround. This will end up bad for Hydra for sure. One Viking to scout apparently. The poor Viking is dead now. But Hydra did amazing damage with DTs. DTs are great. But there's still 76 SCVs. Our Terran player is really good, More DTs moving out, but now the Terran player is ready for it. And now Hydra takes this really good fight. But as I said, the moment Zamin gets surrounded, this gets really bad for him. Because Stalkers are not that good in a straight up engagement. The reason Stalker Colossus is good is because you can keep them at range, but the moment they're on top of you, shit gets tricky. And even though this trade doesn't look too bad, because well, this is okay-ish, and look at the bank. The bank is okay-ish. I feel like in those moments, Protoss always kind of loses. Because we as Protoss players have to rebuild our expensive units. We have to rebuild the Colossi, we have to rebuild the Disruptor, we have to rebuild the High Templar. And in the case of High Templar, we have to wait for them to be useful. We have to wait for the Disruptors to arrive. Meanwhile, the Terran army is just gonna have like, well, Marine Marauders. More of them. And even though the Terran's macro isn't actually that good right now, but the economy is so fucking amazing. It is insane. So whenever we take trades like that, it gets tricky. Luckily the Terran gave us some time. But look at this army from Hydra. It just kind of, it's good enough to survive, but look at the supply. It just snowballs. Like in this space of PvT, in this late in the game, in the late game. You have to take really efficient trades unless the Terran is economically behind or even. But Terran with mules and shit is always in a really good position. It's always in a, unless you do a lot of damage, of course, it's going to be in a good position. And well, I feel like what might have happened is that Hydra got this feeling of like, well, my DTs did a lot of stuff because they survived really long. And versus a 5.6k player, those DTs would have ended the game, and Hydra could have taken those trades. But versus a 6.3k Terran, who rebuilds his SCVs, who rebuilds his economy, who keeps expanding, it's not going to be that simple. So now this thing happens that I was talking about, that Terran army just snowballs in supply, and our Protoss army is just very small. It hasn't got a lot of good units in it. And now there's a huge force coming this way, killing the Nexus. And this force is even trading with the entirety of the Protoss army. But that's mostly a supply thing, because the Terran was ahead enough for long enough. Okay, guys. So, What were the main points in this game? What were the main points? Number one, using Chrono Boost. Very simple to do. Put them on. If you're not 3-base saturation yet, put them on your economy unless you're going for a specific timing or you're being timed on. That's number one, and that had 2 parts. Okay, number one. Number two. What's number two? Right, vision and paths. Always have your attack paths ready. I mean, you will always. Guys, let's be real here. The one attack path the Terran takes, it's always going to be the one that you don't have vision on. Always. And that leads to positioning and positioning your army, because if your army is out of position, if it would have been in position in that one engagement at the 4th base, it would have been fine, because we could have force fielded. Right? We could have force fielded, we could have bought time. Like this, it wasn't quite possible. And the biggest thing, number 3, if you notice a certain, like, oh, I have too many minutes, or I have too much gas, think about, wait, what could I do with that? And like outside of a build order, like I have too much gas, I could be building High Templar. I could be building Dark Templar. It basically, if you have a bank like that, which is not like just a macro problem, like a mechanical bank, but like just an actual bank, it gives you freedom to experiment a little and like to try stuff around. And that is hopefully going to be helpful for every Protoss out there, maybe even every player out there. Not only Hydra at 5.6k. Guys, thank you all for watching. I hope this video was helpful. If you did enjoy it, feel free to like, share, subscribe, comment, you know the usual. Also, I stream every day 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. CEST over on my Twitch channel. Go check that out if you want to. Everything is linked down below. Yeah, I think that was it. Thank you for watching. Have a good one. Take care. The video is going to be uploaded today. Have a good one. Peace.